Hey guys, today it is Pixelman 1001, and today I have another very specific video game collection for you. This is all my EA games, licensed games, so licensed titles from EA, during the 6th console generation. Now, there's a lot of things that are sort of technicalities about that, and I will get into them for each of the games. Like, for example, how Agent Under Fire came out 2 days. There was a PS2 game, and then later a GameCube and Xbox. But the PS2 version, the original, came out 2 days before Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which was a PlayStation 1 game. And that's still part of the... Because that's the thing, the jump between the 5th to 6th generations was way bigger than the jump from the 6th to the 7th, in my opinion. So, that's why I'll be mentioning some things like, well, you'll see some game, like one of these games, the last game I'm going to show you is an Xbox 360 game I have, but it's primarily, you'll see what I mean. I'll explain it as I get through each one. But there are 18 titles here, and this is again not my EA games collection, because I do have a couple others too, because there's lots of 7th generation ones I'm either have or looking to get or want to upgrade to a better edition. Subject to affordability or whatever, but yeah, because I have like some of the Need for Speed games as well. But those are, of course, that's a video game series. These are licensed games here. So let's take a look, shall we? Alright, so. The first game of this, which I should mention just as a little sidebar, came out right before the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone game on PlayStation 1 and PC. But that's a 5th generation game still, I think. But yeah, like the way I categorize it is quite different. Like, you wonder how I sort of categorize a lot of my games, go to my video game collection video. Though there's a couple instances of things that I've changed in that so far, but still. Anyways, yeah, this is the first 6th generation licensed game from EA, and this was going to be initially a PC version of The World's Not Enough, but they decided to just make it its own title. Like a PC and PS2 version of that, yeah. And this was developed by EA Redwood Shores. Initially for PlayStation 2, but then also later it was released like a few months later on GameCube and Xbox, with the Xbox version being ported by Savage Entertainment. Not going to read the things on the box there, but you can see things. Actually, no, you know what? I will. It says, when the world needs a hero, James Bond answers the call. An all-new adventure with 12 pulse-pounding missions, intense first-person action with high-tech weapons and state-of-the-art gadgets. Encounter stunning Bond girls, both helpful and deadly. Get behind the wheel of exotic supercars, BMW Z8, BMW 750iL, Aston Martin DB5, and more. For your friends in 4-player split-screen action. Oh yeah, the James Bond games with multiplayer are great. And this says 1 to 2 players. Memory card uses 90 kilobytes. Analog control, but version function, and it supports the multi-tap for up to 4 players. This one's rated T with suggested themes and violence. And there's the disc. And the guide inside here gives you a little EA registration card there. And an ad for the 007 video game headquarters, the EA.com. Second one of these. Now, I'm going to mention it here, I like to have original releases of things. This one's not exactly the original release of this, because it's the GameCube port. It's the GameCube port, but still, it wasn't an afterthought, so therefore it's, I don't think it was an afterthought, so yeah, that's, like an afterthought meaning after, like, when I say afterthought like that, the game has to have already been out before they thought of this, like how Tomb Raider Anniversary was just going to be for, like, PS2, PSP, and PC, but after the game was released, fan outcry led to an Xbox 360 version being developed and released, so yeah. We're close to, I don't know exactly the time frames, but yeah, you know what I mean. This is, like I said, this is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. And this game was developed by Stormfront Studios initially for PlayStation 2. Yeah, for PlayStation 2, and then also later got released on Xbox and was GameCube and Xbox, with the GameCube version being ported by Hypnos Entertainment. That's the one I have here. Though it's, as far as I'm aware, it's the exact same game. The GameCube and Xbox versions came out a few months after the PS2 version. So the PS2 one's the original release. Just to let you know. Decide the fate of Middle-earth. Join the Fellowship. Play as Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli in this epic adventure. Upgrade your characters with new moves and weapons. Unlock a secret character and level. Defeat the Dark Lord's minions. Battle through locations from the first 2 films, including the Defense of Helm's Deep. Fight orcs, the Uruk-hai, ring-wraiths, and more. Exclusive movie content. Scenes from the film Two Towers. Soundtrack from the Fellowship of the Ring. Exclusive interviews with the stars of the films. And it supports 1 player, and the memory card uses 4 blocks. And it's rated T with blood and violence. And there's the disc. And inside here we get the guide, the manual, whatever. Sure there's nothing I'm missing here for ads or anything. Cool ads. It talks about the Wizard's Duel from the Games Workshop. Sideshow Weta. And then we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. This is one of the 6th generation versions. Now, the thing about this game, this is for the 6th generation game. While they're pretty much the same game, there is some minor differences from the PS2 version, the PlayStation 2 version, than with the GameCube and Xbox version, which those are identical to each other, but this one is a little bit different. Now, from what I've heard, some people say it was that the game was developed for GameCube and Xbox by Eurocom and then ported to PlayStation 2 by EA UK. But others say it was developed for PlayStation 2 by EA UK and ported to GameCube and Xbox by Eurocom. Now, I don't know if anyone knows the actual truth of that, because, like, to me, the reason I say that is because this one doesn't have the Eurocom thing anywhere on the box. I guess it doesn't have to have that, but still. Like, the cutscenes look a bit different, but they're the same exact lines, and the gameplay is pretty much exactly the same. The only difference with that is sometimes there's not as your free roaming is more limited on the other consoles, whereas here it's a little more. And the lighting is different on some things and different things like that. But yeah, I didn't care to get both versions. This is the one I had for years, so that's what I have. This is the PS2 game, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There's the spine, and here's the back. And also, I should mention there was a separate PC version developed by No Wonder, much like the first game. And there was a separate PlayStation 1 version developed by Argonaut Software, much like the first game, which used assets from the first movie game on PlayStation 1. You just reused assets from that. Dare to return to Hogwarts. Be Harry Potter in a richer, deeper adventure. Explore an authentic, immersive Hogwarts. New Wizard Duels. Lead Gryffindor to the Quidditch Cup. Control your spell power. Use stealth. Features. Confront the mysteries of the Chamber of Secrets with advanced second-year magic, challenging quests, and dangerous adversaries. Greater depth, featuring wizard duels, very power spells, and Quidditch leagues. Take flight, hop on your Nimbus 2000, and freely explore Hogwarts. Challenge foes, including Aragog and the fearsome Basilisk. Harry comes to life. His internal voice guides you. Interact with all your favorite characters, including Ron, Hermione, Hagrid, Dobby, and Gilderoy Lockhart. Supports 1 player. Memory card uses 170 kilobytes. Analog control vibration function. It's rated E with violence. And this actually is on a CD, this game. It's blue, so yeah, it's a CD game, because it was small enough file size to get on just the CD, which is nice. So, and then here's the manual in here. EA cheat code thing. Then we have an ad here for Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. I know the first 2 games of that were published by EA, but the third one was published by Activision. I would assume that Chrome Studios probably owned the IP, and that's why they were able to get it to another publisher, so when the EA dropped the 3rd game or something like that. I think that's probably what happened, so. And the last one of the 2002 games, like, because these 3 all launched in the fall of 2002, or the holiday season of 2002, alongside Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, which is, again, that's its own, that's not a licensed game, that's a Need for Speed game, so yeah. But this is 007 Nightfire, and you can see it's a PlayStation 2 greatest hits copy. I'd say this is my favorite James Bond game. I think it's, like, nowadays, everyone all used to say that GoldenEye was their favorite. Now, I think everyone's saying it's this one. Do you have what it takes to be Bond? All-new storyline featuring Pierce Brosnan as James Bond. Rendezvous with beautiful women and confront devious villains in more than 10 exotic locales. 12 action-packed missions combining combat, stealth, and upgradable gadgets. Engage in 5 high-speed levels with the Aston Martin V12 Vanquish and other dynamic vehicles. Over 10 custom multiplayer modes, including characters and settings from classic James Bond movies. This one was developed for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox by Eurocom. And there was also a separate PC version, which was way inferior. I've heard. I tried a demo for that, actually, I think. Yeah, it's definitely inferior to this one. Developed by Gearbox Software. This one supports 1 or 2 players. Memory card uses 82 kilobytes. Analog control variation function. The multi-tab uses up to 4 players. And this one's rated T with suggestive themes and violence. There's the disc. And here's the special edition James Bond collection. And it talks about the James Bond special edition DVDs. I have that whole set. I have the whole set of all 20 of those, so that's nice. Now we're going into 2003. The fall 2003, there were a few major games here. We have Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. This one, because there was no Harry Potter movie in 2003, they put this out instead. They put 2 new Harry Potter game releases actually out because there were no movies in 2003. So yeah, this was, like I said, Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. Mount your broomstick for the favorite sport of witches and wizards. Lead any of the Hogwarts houses to victory in the Hogwarts Quidditch Cup. Then select an international team and use your new skills to take aim at the Quidditch World Cup. Compete in the Hogwarts Quidditch Cup as Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Draco Malfoy Slytherin. Take control of an international team in pursuit of the greatest Quidditch prize of all, the Quidditch World Cup. Play the best Quidditch teams in the world, with each with its own distinct playing style. USA, England, France, Germany, the Nordic team, Japan, Spain, Australia, and Bulgaria, featuring Victor Crumb. Go head-to-head with your friends in magical, fast, exciting 2-player action. Master 6 different Quidditch challenges around Hogwarts. Connect with the Game Boy Advance for Quidditch card trading and cooperative gameplay. Just catch the golden snitch, beat bludgers, score with your chasers. So it supports 1 or 2 players simultaneous. Memory card uses 3 blocks, and it's Game Boy Advance compatible. And it's rated E for everyone with no advisories. And I should mention, also, I forgot to mention, this one's developed by EA UK for PC, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. And then there's the disc right there. So you see the GameCube discs are always more tiny. And on the back of the manual here, you can see an ad. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Now even more magical. So that's that. And then we have the Lord of the Rings Return of the King. This one was developed by EA Redwood Shores for PC and PlayStation 2. And also, same day, was ported to GameCube and Xbox by Hypnos Entertainment. Of course, I have the GameCube version right here. I love that Lord of the Rings, the little seal there, that I think it's holographic. I have a copy of Blade 2 on Xbox. They must have replaced the case from the Lord of the Rings game or something, because it has that Lord of the Rings sticker on it. But anyways, live the movie, be the hero. Live the epic adventure. Play as 9 characters, including Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas, Gimli, Sam, and Frodo. Battle through 15 highly interactive levels. Form your fellowship. Fight side by side in multiplayer co-op mode. Unlock special content by connecting to a Game Boy Advance. Defeat the forces of evil. Confront Shelob, the King of the Dead, the Witch King, Sauron's Lieutenant, and more. Movie exclusives. The only game with scenes and music from the films. Well, the other one was too, but anyways. This is a direct sequel to that game. Supports 1 or 2 players simultaneously. Memory card uses 6 blocks, and it's Game Boy Advance compatible. And then it's rated T with violence. There's the disc right there, and then inside here is an ad for all sorts of stuff. We got, multiple ads in here. This is also a THX certified game. Only entirely new extended edition, November 18th. Special extended DVD edition and collector's DVD gift set. I have all those. I have all the release things that are pictured here, so yeah. Then Games Workshop, Middle-earth role-playing game. Then Sideshow Weta, Gollum. In the back, we have an ad for Medal of Honor Rising Sun. And also that holiday season, they put out this, this goes for quite a lot of money now on all the platforms it's on. So I'm glad I got one when I did. This is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Now you're probably saying, like, well, wasn't there a Sorcerer's Stone video game already in the 5th generation? Well, again, much like Quidditch World Cup, because there was no new Harry Potter movie in 2003, they decided to put this out. And this is obviously quickly put together because this is actually, even despite this being from a different developer, this was developed by Warthog Games for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Despite that, this one is mostly made using assets from the Chamber of Secrets game. Like, the assets were given to them or whatever, and they mostly built it off of that. A magical new first-year adventure. Help Harry uncover the secret of the Sorcerer's Stone in this brand new game for the PlayStation 2. Encounter, strange creatures such as the venomous Tentacula, Devil Snare, and mutated Geetrasher. I don't even think that was in the movie or the book. I'm not sure. I probably am. Probably stunned as me arse, as they say. Excuse my language, but anyways. Enhance your wizarding powers with the Spongify Spell Challenge. Explore even more exciting locations, including Ollivanders Wand Shop and Hagrid's Garden. Prepare for an extraordinary climactic final encounter with the dreaded you-know-who. So it supports one player. Memory card uses 179 kilobytes. Supports analog control and vibration function. And this is rated E with comic mischief and fantasy violence. This one goes for a lot of money now. This one was like $80 I saw on price charting. And the GameCube version, which my friend Nick the Young Historian has, that one goes for like $90 or something like that. It's really, this is Canadian prices I'm doing because I'm Canadian. It's really expensive for some reason. Much like how the Quidditch World Cup had an ad for this on the back, this one had in the back here as an ad for Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup. Which again, like I said, is a great game, so. And this game, I think, was probably supposed to come out and it was their big Bond release for 2003. But it got delayed until February 2004. The handheld version came out on time, but this one they delayed until February 2004 for some reason. This is 007 Everything or Nothing. You'll see this is the first Xbox game in the video. You'll see I pretty much have all the systems from those eras, so that's why I have all these things. And this was developed by EA Redwood Shores for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. With everything at stake, the world calls on Bond. Now in third-person view, all-new hand-to-hand combat system, unprecedented variety of missions, 2-player co-op mode. Supports 1 to 2 players, in-game dual digital, and HDTV 480p. There's also a THX certified game. And this is rated T with suggestive themes and violence. There's the disc. And we have an ad in here, or ads in here for some stuff. Sideshow Collectibles. And Die Another Day on DVD. Of course, I definitely have that on DVD, that edition. So. And now for the major, there were 4 sort of major releases throughout, like they were throughout 2004. Of course, this one was 2004 as well, but it was supposed to be a 2003 game, but it got delayed. So I would assume that's probably what happened. Because the handheld version came out earlier in 2003, like it came out in fall 2003. So yeah, that was the Game Boy Advance version, which is a different. Again, I'm not mentioning handheld games because they're completely different games. But if the PC version differs or whatever, I sort of mentioned that as a sidebar. So here's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This game was developed by EA UK for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox with a completely separate PC version developed by No Wonder. And this one is this one it says play as Harry, Ron, and Hermione, face the Dementors, fly Buckbeak, play mini games, and then iToy after school games. The Dementors are coming, and this time Harry needs his friends. So it's 1 player, memory card uses 64 kilobytes, analog control, digital control, vibration function, and the iToy you can have up to 4 players. And this one's rated E with fantasy violence. Unfortunately, there's some water damage on here, and there's no manual inside, but whatever. It's unfortunate, but yeah, because when I looked on the eBay listing, the guy said it had the manual and everything, but turned out it was just the French-Canadian manual that would have come on the back of the case, so they didn't have to print another whole box, and they just stick that. But then they started just printing whole boxes and selling them all across Canada instead of just Quebec. So either that's how they used to sell them in all Canada, or I got a copy that was from Quebec. So because in Quebec everything has to have French on it. So yeah. And the next game, I hear this one is I haven't tried this yet. I just got this one the other day. This one I hear is a piece of crap, but still it's part of this collection. So this is Catwoman. Yeah, I hear the movie. The movie is not very good from what I hear. I never saw the movie, but a friend of mine, it's my friend's sister, who's also, I guess, a friend of mine. I guess more of an acquaintance, I guess. But yeah, she does. Yeah, I guess she's a friend of mine. Yeah, she loves this movie. She even went as Catwoman for Halloween one year. So yeah. Feline domination. Stalk from the shadows of the rooftops, command the cityscape below. Halle Berry is Catwoman, though apparently it isn't actually Halle Berry. It's Jennifer Hale doing the voice. I met Jennifer Hale, by the way. She's great, very sweet, very awesome. Whip into action to conquer your enemies and dominate your surroundings. And then combine fluid kicks and flips to unleash Catwoman's explosive style. And this was developed by Argonaut Games, the developer of those Harry Potter PS1 games, for PlayStation 2, GameCube, for a PC, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Supports one player. Memory card uses 246 kilobytes. Supports analog control and vibration function. And this one's rated T with violence and mild language. Let's check on the battery percentage on here. So there's the disc. And the inside here's the manual. You'll see the manuals will get slimmer and slimmer as we go along. And next up we have Lord of the Rings Third Age. So instead of this one being a hack and slash like the other ones, this one they made it a turn-based RPG. Basically, Final Fantasy with Lord of the Rings. Like Lord of the Rings themed Final Fantasy, basically. Lord of the Rings Third Age. One RPG to rule them all. Battle alongside members of the Fellowship, an adventure spanning all three films in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Journey through Middle-earth with 6 new playable characters from the movies. Customize your heroes with an in-depth skill tree and over half a million weapon, item, and armor combinations. All new turn-based combat system gives you a new level of strategic control over combat encounters. Adventure with friends in cooperative multiplayer mode. Stunning special effects and voiceover from the original actors bring the cinematic feel of the films to life. Wreak havoc as the Balrog and Minion of Sauron or other enemies in an expansive minigame. And I should mention this one was developed by EA Redwood Shores for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Supports one player. It supports a memory unit using 6 blocks. Supports custom soundtracks and in-game Dolby Digital. This is a THX certified game. This is rated T with violence. Oh, disc fell out there. It's all good though. There's the disc. On the inside here, there's no ads in there or anything. The manual's kind of small. And then the last major one for 2004, this is GolDENEye Rogue Agent. This one was developed by, I think it was EA Los Angeles for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Supports 1 to 4 players simultaneous, and memory card uses 5 blocks. Why save the world when you can rule it? Utilize over 100 different weapon combinations through the independently triggered dual-wield weapon system. Your two-handed arsenal will be devastating during encounters with multiple enemies. Show no mercy in intense split-screen multiplayer battles. Enemies controlled by the all-new EVIL AI. Mean no two games are ever the same. Upgrade your synthetic eye to see through walls. Manipulate electronics to deflect bullets or send enemies flying. Check my battery there, that's all. Fight alongside and against legendary villains such as Goldfinger, Oddjob, Pussy Galore, and Dr. No. This is also a THX certified game, and it's rated T with suggestive themes and violence. And this one actually is the only Bond game, because my friend, again, Nick the Young Story, he has all the Bond games from that era on GameCube. And of all of them, this is the only one of them that comes on 2 discs instead of 1. Only one of the Bond games. There's tons of GameCube games that come on 2, obviously, but this is the only one of the Bond games. Now we go into the ones that were released in 2005. This one was the big summer release. This was a big summer 2005 release. This was, because yeah, for these ones, these were summer 2005, these were the fall 2005. This was a summer 2005 release. This is Batman Begins. And this was developed by Eurocom for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Invoke fear. Stalk your enemies from the shadows. Unleash powerful moves based on the unique fighting style created for the movie. Defend justice. Take on Gotham's most wanted, including Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. Feel the power of the Batmobile. Tear up the streets and rooftops with lightning-fast vehicular combat. Play the movie. Embrace the darkness of Arkham Asylum and the alleys of Gotham. Featuring the voices of Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Liam Neeson, Katie Holmes, Cillian Murphy, Tom Wilkinson, and Morgan Freeman. Supports 1 player, in-game Dolby Digital, and HDTV 480p. And this is rated T with language and violence. There's the disc. And then next up, now we get the ones from fall 2005. This one is Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects. Now, Activision is who mostly owned at the time the rights to do like Marvel crossover games, as well as like Spider-Man, X-Men, and Fantastic Four until they gave those rights to 2K, and then I think Iron Man until they gave those rights to Sega. And a lot of those things, but Marvel crossovers, there was a lot of different like legal hurdles and everything like that. But mainly with Spider-Man and X-Men. But this game, Marvel was able to make a deal with EA to make a crossover fighting game. But it also not only had Marvel characters, but also had these original characters called the Imperfects that were created by EA for this game. And this one was developed by Nihilistic Software for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. Supports 1 and 2 players simultaneously. Memory card uses 4 blocks. Clash of the Superheroes. Battle of 18 superheroes from 6 families, including a powerful new group, the Imperfects. Unleash the devastating superpowers unique to each character. Your surroundings are a weapon in fully destructible battle environments. Save the Earth in a single-player storyline unrivaled by any fighting game. And this one's rated T with blood, suggestive themes, and violence. There's no manual in here, but there is the instruction booklet there. And this one, there's the disc right there. Next one, I actually have to sell the seal on this because I actually got this sealed just recently. This is 007 from Russia with Love, EA's last James Bond game. This was developed by EA Redwood Shores for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox, and was ported to PSP. I think it was by Rebellion Developments, I'm pretty sure. And this one, yeah, it says Enter the World of Classic James Bond. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed this one a lot. Customize your Bond with upgradable gadgets, weapons, and clothing. Speed through missions in classic cars, speedboats, or a jetpack. Shoot with pinpoint accuracy using the new Bond Focus mode. Battle alert to be the deadliest villain in all multiplayer deathmatches. Supports 1 to 4 players and in-game Dolby Digital. This is rated T with suggestive themes and violence. And then there's nothing in the manuals anymore. They're starting to get less and less beefy as we go along. And then Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. This was developed by EA UK for PC, PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, and PSP. Can you master the magic? Experience the excitement of the movie when you play as Harry, Ron, and Hermione in a breathtaking adventure packed with action and magic. Combine your magic and play with up to 2 friends to create more powerful charms and jinxes. Experiment with magic. Explore the world of Hogwarts to discover new spell uses and combinations. Compete in the Triwizard Tournament facing the deadly Hungarian Horntail Dragon, the icy depths of the Black Lake, and an enchanted maze. This one supports 1 and 2 players. Memory card for PS2 uses 111 kilobytes. Supports digital control, analog control, vibration function, and the multi-tap uses can have up to 3 players. This one's rated E10 plus with fantasy violence. E10 plus, E10. If I say one or the other, like I alternate between them, just don't mind that. So I think this is the only E10 rated game in this video. So. Again, nothing in the manual there, so yeah. Now, the next 2 games are a little bit of a technicality when it comes to being 6th generation titles. First one of these is the Godfather, the game. This was developed by EA Redwood Shores for PC, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. Though I hear that all those versions, because the game was developed by EA Redwood Shores, but the game was also ported for some reason, maybe they couldn't get it running or something, by Page 44 Studios. Now, what I think is more likely is probably this was EA Redwood Shores developed this one themselves and everything, but it was the later PSP version, Godfather Mob Wars, that must have been that. Like that's what I choose to believe, even though it's probably not, like it might not be true, but it's what I choose to believe because it doesn't make much sense that other way. But yeah, this was the Godfather, the game. Yeah, it was originally for PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox. It supports 1 player, in-game Dolby Digital. Welcome to the family. Wield the power of the Black Hand. Command respect and become the Dawn of Dawns. Join the war of the 5 families to take control of a living NYC. Rise to power and experience unforgettable moments from the film. And this one is rated M with blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, and suggestive themes. There's the disc, and we have an ad here for the Godfather DVD box set, which I own. Even on the back it says, the Godfather films are available for purchase on DVD and VHS. That's how... This was the very tail end of the VHS lifespan, but whatever. Like, March 2006 was pretty much the very end of VHS in stores, but... And then we also got I'm not going to unfold this, but there's a map in here, because it's sort of like this is like a GTA clone very much. Not a clone, but like it's good in its own right. It's definitely a great game, but still, like, it's very inspired by GTA from what I've sort of felt in playing the game or whatever. But here's the thing about this: they later ported the game, but just the levels and the cutscenes, but it wasn't open world, just the linear level based port called The Godfather Mob Wars, released for PSP. That was still just titled The Godfather in other regions, but in North America it was retitled Godfather Mob Wars. But then an enhanced version of the game was ported to was released for Xbox 360. And the same day as the PSP port, and then even after that, there were 2 more ports. One of them was the same as the Xbox 360 port, but it was, of course, lower resolution because of the Wii, but it added motion controls, and the other one, that was called Black Hand Edition. So that's why the Xbox 360 is also nicknamed the Black Hand Edition, because it has that extra content. But then the Godfather, the Dawn's Edition, was released for PlayStation 3, the same day as the Wii port, and that had all the stuff from the Black Hand Edition, Xbox 360, whatever, and motion controls for 6-axis, plus even more exclusive content. But the thing is with me, I like to have whatever the closest to the original as possible is. Like, I don't care if they added more later. The Xbox version came out first, many months before the Xbox 360, so therefore I like to have the original Xbox version. And at least this one was cheaper because of that. Like, people, like, want to have the Xbox 360, so it's way more expensive. So this one is cheaper because it's not as sought after, but because not a lot of people are like me. So, anyways, this last game, you're like, oh, this is an Xbox 360 game. Isn't that a 7th generation console? Well, it is. But this game, I think, was probably delayed because of came out around the time of the DVD release instead of the time of the movie release. But this game was developed by EA Tiburon, I don't know how to say that, but whatever. It's another EA studio for PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Xbox 360. And the Xbox 360 one looks and plays the best. But I have a thing where, like, there's a handful of Xbox 360 games that are so early on that were on mostly other, like, 6th-gen consoles that I include within my 6th-gen games instead of mixed within my 7th-gen games. Because it just feels more natural to do that. Like, there's, like, Gun and Peter Jackson's King Kong, because, like, these games, the games that are on Xbox 360 but didn't have, like, a PS3 port or whatever, that were early on, like, were in, like, 2006 or 2005. And there's certain ground rules when it comes to that. Like, The Godfather, the game, if I had that on a 360, that would have gone in the 7th generation version because it's such an enhanced version of that game. So therefore, that's what that is. Like, enhanced, like, with new features and new gameplay and new content. So yeah. Whereas this one, while it looks and plays a bit better, the content is exactly the same as it is on PlayStation 2 and original Xbox. Master your superpowers to save Metropolis. Explore all 80 square miles of the huge open world Metropolis for the first time ever. Unleash your arsenal of superpowers. Flight, heat vision, freeze breath, and more. Defeat legendary villains like Bizarro and Metallo in colossal action-packed missions, inspired by the blockbuster film and 60-plus years of comic book history. Supports 1 player, 144 kilobytes to save your game. HDTV supports 720p, 1080i, and 1080p, and in-game Dolby Digital. And it's rated T with violence. Now, another thing I should mention is that there was there was a game in between The Godfather and this one that was on Xbox 360, but that's a purely 7th gen game because the only consoles it was on were PC and Xbox 360. So therefore, I put that with the other. I would have put that with the other 7th gen games. That's the Battle for Middle-earth 2. Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2, but that's a real-time strategy game, and I don't know how I hear it's good on the console, like on Xbox 360, but I just don't know how you play it, how real-time strategy on the 360 would work. Apparently it does, but I'm not going to try that, because I already have the Battle for Middle-earth anthology on PC, and that includes all the content from both Battle for Middle-earth games, which are like on PC and everything. So I feel I just have that, and I think it's better to play real-time. Like, usually I prefer console gaming, except for RTSs. I prefer those on PC. So yeah, there's all the games. Of course, there were many other licensed games that came after that. Like, there was, like, Godfather 2. There was the Simpsons game, Harry Potter and the numbers 5 through 8. These were in the 7th generation or whatever. And there was also, I think, Rango, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Yeah, and there was also Lord of the Rings Conquest. I have some of those, yeah. But not all of them. And I don't really plan to get the G.I. Joe or Rango ones, so, like, I'm not really interested in those myself, like, enough. I guess Catwoman, that wasn't as interesting to me either, but it was, at least it's a property that I'm more familiar with, and plus I figure, yeah, just getting all these, I have all the other games, might as well complete this set, so yeah, that's what I had there. So tell me what you think of this set, and do you have any memories of playing these games growing up, and which ones did you like, dislike, or whatever? This is Pixelman 2001 signing out. Peace.